views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello everyone, welcome to Open BxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Charby Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll learn more about the Delta variant and the recommended COVID vaccine booster shot when we speak to Union Community Health Center Medical Chief Officer, Dr. Jae Ahn. After that, we'll hear about Salsa Stories, multimedia installation celebrating the history and culture of salsa. Then we speak with Janine and Dominick Detore, the sister of reality star, the late Big Ange from Mob Wives, about her new cookbook, Bitchen In The Kitchen, From My Big Family to Your Table, showcasing her Italian family recipes. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings us an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on award-winning poet, advocate of Wordz, who will talk about the inspiration behind his poetry, which we will certainly get a taste of at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way, because now we are officially open. Welcome back to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, encouraging you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. Of course, you can always follow me on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. So, as the Delta variant continues to surge across New York City and the United States for that matter, many people are still left with questions about the latest COVID strain. And according to the CDC, the Delta variant is twice as more contagious and may cause severe illness for unvaccinated individuals. And joining us to tell us more about the Delta variant and also if a booster shot is needed, we welcome Union Community Health Center Medical Chief Officer, Dr. Jae Ahn. Hello, Dr. Jae Ahn.
Good morning. Nice
Good
to
morning.
be here, Rhina.
Nice to have you with us. Well, welcome. And I guess it's pretty much a time for you to start revving up again. I mean, I thought we were on the other side, and here we are preparing for another preventative matter. So, Dr. Ahn, first, I want to thank you for your service, being in the front lines, and also for working directly within our community at Union Community Health Center. What can you share with us about the Delta variant that will allow us to have a better understanding of this new strain versus COVID-19?
Yeah, so the coronavirus can mutate or change over time. So different versions can develop, which may be more transmissible, creating more disease and actually more hospitalization and even death. So in order for us to protect ourselves from the Delta variant, we have to vaccinate ourselves so it decreases the potential to get very sick. Now, when you get vaccinated, it doesn't mean that you don't get sick. You just get a milder form, maybe asymptomatic, and you definitely avoid hospitalization and potentially death. So that's why we're encouraging vaccination. Yes, you're absolutely right. July was a hiatus. We kind of got a break. The Delta variant wasn't here really. We felt good about our vaccination rates across the country. We were opening up, and if you were vaccinated, you didn't have to wear masks as per the CDC. But now, because of this surge, it was sort of unexpected that it's taken over very rapidly in the last few weeks. The CDC again recommended masking and indoors to protect everybody from infection.
So is the Delta variant more deadlier than the regular strain of COVID-19?
Yeah, the data is coming in and it's evolving. It appears that it's definitely more transmissible and may cause more illness and more severe illness, leading to more hospitalization and actually more death. So that's what we're seeing in the US, especially in the unvaccinated group. They make up the majority of hospitalizations and deaths across the US right now. So it's very important that everybody gets vaccinated. In New York, our positivity rate is not as high as in the South. We're still hovering around 3.5% to 4% in New York City. So, you know, that's much better than
Right.
South. So
Is that because we have a higher vaccination rate?
yeah, we do have a higher vaccination rate with adults. We're almost at 60% fully vaccinated in New York State, which is very good. Across the country, it's about 50% fully vaccinated. So we're not at the herd immunity level of 70% or more, which is what we would like. So what's happening is that the CDC got very concerned that they thought that vaccinated people weren't able to transmit the virus to unvaccinated, vulnerable people. And now they've discovered they actually can transmit the virus. So this is why it's very concerning, because those vulnerable unvaccinated people are now at risk of getting very sick, whereas the vaccinated might get sick, but they might get mild or asymptomatic illness, which protects them. But if they have any vulnerable people in their family, the grandparents, young people, less than 12 years old, I mean, they could potentially get very sick. So
right, for clarity purposes, right? Because here, just so that we're clearing it up to our audience. So
yes,
people vaccinated, and we're going to say what everybody thought, okay, we're vaccinated now, we can't get it. Yes, we could still get it. It minimizes the symptoms in contracting it. However, in getting it and maybe not even knowing you have it, you become asymptomatic and you can pass it on to someone who may not be vaccinated, and or somebody who's vaccinated. The difference is that it's going to have a different reaction. Each individual is going to have a different reaction, right? So, right. So that's one clarification. Now, this new, I guess, suggestion of children from 12 and up, that's another concern, right? Because as a young, they're not even adults yet, they're not even teens yet, their body is still developing. So I think we're missing clarification on the impact the vaccination has on the body. Just to say from a child who's growing, like, why is it that kids that are younger than 12 can't get it, but yeah, 12 can, and when at 12 years old, they're still growing?
Well, mainly it's because when the vaccination safety and efficacy was rolled out, it wasn't really tested in younger individuals less than 12 years old. So we really can't say how safe it is. Right now, the safety trials are happening right now, the phase 3 trials for Pfizer and Moderna. So once that trial is complete in the next month or two, we will have more data and be able to safely say that less than 12-year-olds we could give the vaccine to. As to your question about older, young adolescent people, maybe you don't know enough about their bodies and about its safety, I would say it's shown to be safe in adolescent too. And that's why they basically approved it.
Got it. And so where we are now, in just obviously we have a freedom of choice somewhat. Now there's this requirement to be vaccinated, and now there's this, requirement of showing that you're vaccinated if you go to a restaurant or you're at a gym or, these indoor gatherings. What do you say to people who are feeling as if though their freedom is being challenged?
Yeah, we're not trying to curb someone's activities, but we want them to have that activity safely and not be a super spreader event. So that's the concern. And I think it's very prudent to ask for vaccinations in large gatherings, because unfortunately, once in a large gathering, you could have a huge spread of virus inadvertently and really have horrible consequences for that event. So I think it's reasonable to ask for vaccinations, especially in any gathering that's more than 10 people. That's not really a good thing.
And so now,
Yeah.
no, right. And so now, being vaccinated and still having to wear a mask in an indoor environment with other vaccinated people, like when is the mask wearing going to be over?
One thing I understand people are not happy with the masking, but I'm not asking them to wear a handcuff. I'm asking them to wear a mask to basically capture their secretions. And then so that if they inadvertently like have it and they don't have any symptoms, they don't even know that they're sick. And that mask is a protection for other people, as well as for the person wearing it. Like, you know, you will hopefully not get exposed because you're wearing the mask. I understand people are definitely, you know, annoyed by wearing a mask, but I would say still it's an inconvenience that I'm willing to take. And I think most people want to take it, especially if you've had any family members really sick or hospitalized or even died from it. You would feel like bad that you never wore a mask. I mean, just imagine like your family loved one got sick and even died, and then you could have said, well, I should have worn that mask. I mean, do you really want to have that thought? Do you really want to sit there at home and be upset with yourself because you got your grandmother, mother, or some vulnerable person that you live with very sick and you can't take this stuff back? This is it, you know. And this is a lot of times when you see on the internet of stories of people, especially in the South, they were against masks and they regret it. They regret not wearing a mask. They regret not vaccinating. And I don't want to have those conversations with my patients. I don't want to have those conversations and saying that, well, it's sort of too late to give you the vaccine because you're admitted in the hospital in ICU. I mean, this is the conversations people in healthcare are having right now. Sorry.
It's okay. I think you made your point, and I think we all got it. And all I can say is, guys, you heard it from the doctor herself. This is Dr. Jae Ahn, who's the Chief Medical Officer at Union Community Health Center, and they are offering free walk-in vaccination shots. And we just had a whole discussion on where we're heading if we don't address the situation now before flu season comes in. So thank you for being with us, Dr. Jae Ahn. And you guys, for a vaccination near you, you can visit vaccinefinder.nyc.gov. And also, like I mentioned, the Union Community Health Center is accepting walk-ins for vaccination shots. And for more information on the Delta variant, you can visit the CDC. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we're going to hear about a new project celebrating salsa. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So Salsa Stories, which is a new media installation celebrating the history and culture of salsa through community revitalization. The project features everything from combined video screening, live music, dance performances, photo exhibition, and a pop-up archival collection site. And recently the project was awarded by the City Corps grant and will be presenting under an open culture program in the Lower East Side of Manhattan. Joining us to tell us more, we welcome Salsa Stories founder and producer, Bianka WidaKay.
Hello, such a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for all these wonderful pop-ups that you've been doing thus far. We're here to talk about the August 26th event, but I've been keeping track of Salsa Stories visits throughout different places within Manhattan and the Bronx. And so first, I want to open up with your last name because Bianca, I read about you and I know that your origins are from Brazil. And I'm just curious to know where the name with a K came from, the last name with the K.
Well, this is a very interesting story because every time I was on set within my production environment, for some reason there's a lot of Biancas and in the salsa scene as well. And every time someone called, it's like Bianca with the C or with the K? And I was like, no, Bianca with the K. And okay, Bianca with the K. So I became known as Bianca with a K to the point that I made it official. That's my artistic name.
So let's talk about Salsa Stories and why you've chosen this particular topic to be your means of just bringing community together, because the concept itself is really dynamic and it sounds like it's a lot of work because you've got so many components.
Right. Well, I've been in New York City for 20 years, and I've been for majority of this time a salsa dancer, and I can say a salsa junkie because there are many kinds of people within the salsa lifestyle, right? And there are those who every day of the week they know about 2 or 3 or 4 places just because we're spoiled like that in New York City. We have that many places to go, and I'm one of them. So I was always out there for salsa, and then very interested, and I decided to transform this addiction, almost like to transform my disability, because I was that kind of person where a friend would roll up their eyes and say, yeah, salsa, I know, like, can you talk about anything else? I'm like, no, I can't. So I decided to create this environment where all I could do is be surrounded by people who can talk about salsa stories.
And so when I mentioned the different dynamics, that's great. It's always wonderful to just engulf yourself in your passion and in your love and joy. And what I really like about what you're doing is you're not just providing a salsa scene, you're providing educational aspects to it and historical aspects to it. So just walk us through what August 26th is going to look like, because I know you've got film, you've got archives, you've got band, you've got all kinds of stuff going on, and it's a full day affair. Well, actually, your portion of it is from 5 to 8, but let's walk us through it.
A little bit of background, right? In 2017, that's when I decided to, I have always been very creative, but not into the TV production. 2017, I started taking a lot of shots and, getting interested about interviewing. And that's when I joined Manhattan Neighborhood Network, which is community-oriented training for producers. So I created this documentary, and my idea was always to be interviewing people from the boroughs where salsa was born, was created, from those immigrants, mostly from Cuba and Puerto Rican that came to East Harlem, Lower East Side, and South Bronx. So made this documentary. I had always tried to put the programming together outdoors where salsa belongs, because that's where it was created, in the streets of New York City. That's where I wanted to bring, and it was always very difficult. With all the challenges and sadness that COVID brought us, he also brought a lot of opportunities and flexibility with those permits, which I applied and was granted. I was specifically strategic, choosing a location in front of the Clemente Cultural Center, Clemente Sotovelas, which is a Puerto Rican Latinx community, cultural and educational institution in the Lower East Side. It was available. I'm like, bam, that's it. That's where I need. And then what I decided it was to join a lot of friends of mine, personal, intimate friends of mine. The person who taught me how to dance, Joe Burgos from Piel Canela Dancers, he is the greatest instructor, because when he's teaching a class, while he's doing that, he's teaching you the history behind that, the rhythm behind that, the countries where it was brought from. I'm like, that's it, you have to be part of it. And the DJs who also are my person. So this is actually a celebration among friends.
Yeah, and extended to the community though. And
the community that I belong, the people that come, they're all friends for many years.
I get it. It just sounds lovely, and I think it's something that we need right now. And I obviously, you know, within the CDC regulations, because we all have to be mindful of the, you know, this particular Delta variant that is, you know, on the rise, and then there's the aspect of making sure that our history is being passed on. Right? So it's not just this celebration of like, I mean, who doesn't love to dance salsa? I'm a salsera myself. So it's like, give me salsa music and I'm there and I'm dancing and I could just spend hours and hours doing that. But to have these other components in where now it becomes this explorational of just experiencing it and really being and getting in touch with the root of it, as in possibly with yourself, if they're your origins, right? Such as me.
Exactly.
And so you've had a few of them throughout the summer, and I know on August 26th, you have this big event that's going to be happening in the Lower East Side, and the showcasing of the history and the culture of salsa is really about you serving the community in the field that you like, being a producer, being a coordinator. I mean you've been doing this for a very long time, and it's just I just find your trajectory fascinating, right? Because you did a little bit of TV, now you just shared the film, and now you're doing these big to-do events outdoors, and it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. You know, in Brazil, the culture is different, right? I belong to an older generation where things were even more different. So at the age of 14, I used to produce events, music events, where I used to take people far out in the woods, about 2,000 people. Mind you, promo in the radio, no internet, not even a pager, right? I would to recruit my friends to sell tickets. And so I always had that in me, like the producer aspect. Today, I'm a TV producer. I have even worked on a show that aired on BronxNet for Center for Puerto Rican Studies, and as a video editor, Puerto Rican voices. So I do that for a living nowadays, right? But it all started with salsa, because I first had this idea, and then I had to acquire the skills to become a TV producer and make this event. So this event symbolizes a long journey, you know, because I started from that place. Another thing is that, and I started slowly, right? I got these grants. This grant is gonna, and throughout this journey that started in the beginning of the summer in July, first week of July, and every Thursday of the month I've been doing that. I've been joining with partners, cultural partners, and they've been helping here and there. And then I got these grants, which is a cherry on top of the cake, very prestigious, you know, from the biggest funding municipal institution, New York City Department of Cultural Affairs, to fund this special event, where the documentary, which features people from the salsa community. And this is the beauty of it. It's not about like that big singer and that salsa. Yes, it does have those all-star people mention and everything, but most likely tells our history, the lifestyle of a salsa dancer, the underground community. How do you even know about those places? They don't advertise. At the door, there's not a sign saying like a salsa social. No, this is word of mouth. So this is what the documentary presents. And this time is presented on a digital billboard truck.
Nice.
I started with a little monitor as a concept, as a proof of concept. And, you know, little by little, it's like this amazing, like street festival, as you mentioned, style with a billboard truck, you know?
That's awesome. That's so awesome. It sounds exciting. And I hope you guys are excited about it, because what she's talking about is going to be on loop throughout the entire performance presentation, the dance presentation. That's Bianka WidaKay sharing with us a little bit of her Salsa La Calle for Salsa La Calle as she celebrates our Salsa Stories. And once again, Salsa Stories is going to be on display on Thursday, August 26th from 5 to 8 p.m. in the Lower East Side. And for more information, you can visit salsastoriestv.com. And for updates, you can visit at Salsa Stories TV on Instagram. All right, when we return, we're going to learn about a cookbook with delicious Italian recipes. You don't want to miss. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Our next guest is bringing families back to the dinner table with her new cookbook, Bitchen in the Kitchen, From My Big Family to Your Table. Her cookbook features delicious Italian recipes and mouth-watering photos of dishes, all inspired by family. She also happens to be the sister of the late Big Ange from the reality show Mob Wives. Joining us to share more, we welcome author Janine Detore and Dominick Detore. Hello, hello, and welcome.
Hello, how are you? Nice
Hello,
to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, nice to see the familia.
Yes. Well, you don't see the whole familia.
The whole familia, right? There's too many of them, right? I mean, some of them already flew the coop, right? But you still got Dominick.
They fly back, believe that. They're here every night.
Well, with the cooking that she does, I can totally understand why. So I see you brought Dominick on air with you. He's also on the cover of the new book. So is he the co-author to this book? How's that working?
No, he flips my pans, he annoys me, and he comes and tells me what I'm doing right or wrong. But
Yeah,
you know, I just let him in the kitchen.
I'm basically a sous chef. But I do have a little bit of skills. I got a couple of things that I helped her make in the book. So
Yeah.
we enjoy being in the kitchen together, and that's where Bitching in the Kitchen actually comes in, because every time we're together, she's bitching and we're in the kitchen.
Well, I love that you also are making it a point of just kind of bringing it back to being together in whatever form. Like, you guys are jokesters, obviously. It looks like you have a ball in the kitchen. And I noticed that there was also some writing with regards to just taking the families away from the devices and the electronics and just going back to the basics of like just being in the kitchen and cooking together. And of course, making these delicious meals that you're making, because God knows I was hungry going through the book.
You know, I have to say that the generations going forward are really taking a back seat to that really family time together, that you sit and you have a hot meal. And not only that, what did you do today at school? What did you learn? How was work? What's going on? And I think that we need to bring that family unit back, because it's these electronics and everything is just taking it away from us.
Yeah. Yeah, and so you started sharing a story with me about your late sister began to actually, you know, she's still with us, right? And with you especially, I know that you make reference to her being your guide through this whole path.
I'm actually getting goosebumps as you're talking about her.
That's what's up. That's what's up. You know, I feel you, and you know, we're sending our love and light, and of course you are on your journey because from what I understand, originally you were going to write a memoir, and then this cookbook came before the memoir. So why don't you take us through this journey? Because I know the memoir is coming out in 2022, but let's just share the backstory with everyone.
I'm going to share a backstory with you. Okay. So when my sister passed away, I couldn't believe it because I was never without my sister. You know, I'm 6 years younger than her. And when I was born, she was there. And, you know, when she took her last breath, I was there. So it's very difficult for me to, I don't know where she ended and I began. I don't know because it was always one. So I don't even know how to say it.
Oh, you started the memoir. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up any emotions. It's all good. It's all good. I just wanted to share with everyone. It's all good. It's all good, honey.
I know that happens sometimes.
Well, you know.
It started out that she started writing down events in their lives that had happened.
I honestly thought I was losing my mind at first because I thought that I would lose the memory. So it just started out as writing in a book, a black and white notebook. And then it took like shape because we always said that we always have the same meatball recipe. And when she passed away, the Post wanted it. And I said, I would never give it. I would only do it something to honor her. I would give it. So I put it in that book because that book honors her. I want everybody to know her before the TV. That's the true person that she was. You know, and sometimes I'm like, she's still here with me. She wouldn't leave me. And that's how I feel the guidance.
And so, all right, so the book that you're talking about is the book that's coming out in March 2022.
Yes.
Right, but the meatball recipe is not in this cookbook.
No.
Oh, they got to buy the sequel. They got to buy the sequel.
They got to buy the sequel because that sequel means so much to me because we were on the Big Morning Buzz and we had a meatball war and I was the meatball queen. She didn't think I was going to win, but I won.
You won. You won. You won.
I won fair and square. So that's to honor her.
And also you honored her by releasing this book on Kindle on June 30th. You shared also, right, which is her birthday, right?
Yeah, she would have been 61 this year.
Yeah, and so it's lovely that you continue to honor your sister. You're making sure that she just lives on forever through your eyes. And so with that, we're talking about the Kindle aspect of it, but the actual book release, it's already available to people through Amazon. However, you're doing a really big book launch you were sharing.
I am. On August 30th at Vice at 15 Watch Street in Soho. I will be with Dolores Catania from The Real Housewives of New Jersey. And everybody could buy a ticket and join us. And we'll be there doing women empowerment. And I will have a book.
I'm just looking at both of you. I'm looking at Dominick. Dominick's behaving. He's not shaking any pans right now.
No, we're not in the kitchen. It's never in there. He's faking it.
It's a lot more to shake me than that.
So, but before we go, let's share with everyone how you're also going to be in the Bronx. You're going to be on Arthur Ave. I know you don't have the exact date, but you mentioned that you're going to.
I do have the exact date.
Oh, you do? Awesome.
I do. The Bronx is Ferragosto, and that's September 12th. I'll be at the Arthur Avenue Market by La Casa Grande, and I will be autographing my book, and they will be there, you know, we'll be there to take pictures and do the book signings, and you'll see our merch, and it's just great.
It's a great day. It's great fun. I want to touch on one point that she was bringing up. We're talking about being in the kitchen with the family. And Janine feels very strongly about this because it's important. It's important to bring the family back together. When you cook and you sit down, you have so many children are lost in the cracks because parents are working or for whatever reason, and they don't get that opportunity to sit down and discuss what's on their mind. And kind of when that wears off, they kind of feel that there is no interest in them. So by putting it all at the table, putting all the electronics aside and talking about your day and showing that you care and love your family, and nothing says it more than food. Janine's a fantastic cook, okay? And that makes it all even better. I mean, my sons have moved out and they still come over for dinner every night.
Yeah.
Because
I have 7 children.
that's what family's about. 7 children.
Ouch.
She does it all. She does it all.
And you can come over anytime and eat.
Oh, I'm going to hold you to that. I'm telling you, I was salivating
problem.
going through the book.
No
I'm
problem.
serious. I'm going to hold you to that. All right. Well, thank you so much for bringing it here to us and sharing it with our viewers. Everyone, Janine, Dominick, Detore, they got the book Bitchen in the Kitchen. It's a cookbook, and the launch is taking place on August 30th at Vice in Soho, together with Dolores from the Real Housewives of New Jersey. And tickets are available to you guys. All you got to do is visit her IG account at Janine Detore. And as I mentioned, the book is available on Amazon. And make sure you check in on Bitchen in the Kitchen. All right, Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
We begin this 5-on-5 with the Field of Dreams. Baseball headlines are 5 stories in recap and 5 to look ahead at in the coming week. And I can't think of a better baseball game to start with at number 5. It was a 5-star showing for Major League Baseball, the Chicago White Sox and the New York Yankees in Iowa. The Sox earned the dramatic win on a Tim Anderson 2-run walk-off homer that disappeared into the cornfield in the bottom of the 9th inning, lifting Chicago to a 9-8 win in Dyersville. Although the Bombers took the loss, it wasn't without a tremendous come-from-behind effort that was 3 outs shy of going from movie magic to reality. In the 9th, the Yanks made a comeback that almost appeared scripted. Aaron Judge went deep to the opposite field for his 2nd homer of the night, and a team-leading 25th of the season, a 2-run shot that got New York within 1. After Joey Gallo walked, Giancarlo Stanton belted a 2-run go-ahead blast, and folks, we all know that he hasn't been the most clutch in pinstripes. Baseball heaven. Well, that was until Anderson authored a different outcome in the bottom of the 9th inning. Nonetheless, you could see why it was the most watched regular season baseball game in 16 years. Mix in plenty of movie tributes, lots of Kevin Costner, and some really cool retro unis in Ballpark 5, and you can easily see why MLB is signing up for another edition next year. Who needs fake movie dreams anyway when you have a Bronx boy living his real-life dream in reality? The Yankees added Andrew Velazquez to the Major League roster after signing the 27-year-old this offseason. The shortstop and super sub grew up in the Morris Park section, attended Fordham Prep, and now he's playing pro baseball right here in the BX.
Amazing. I think when you envision playing for the Yankees, that's probably the main position you even think about playing them for them for. But just being here, I know the team's been rolling. So just being able to contribute in any way I can, I'm happy we got the dub last night. Yeah. What I've been seeing a lot is just a lot of love from people that I've come across from, back home. So just seeing all the support I have behind me is amazing.
The kid grabs the 4th spot and provides the perfect segue here on the front end of 5-on-5 with another pro who is making a homecoming in this city. We shift gears to the NBA hardwood. It's official. Bronx boy Kimball Walker is a New York Knick. The 31-year-old parted ways with OKC and decided now is the time to make the Mecca his permanent address. It'll be a chance to play more games at an arena that has provided some of his finest moments, whether it was in college or even the NBA. Our BronxNet cameras will never ever forget that Big East run. He won a national championship as a junior at UConn in 2011, concluding the season on an 11-game winning streak that began when the Huskies won 5 games in 5 days. Maybe that was the original 5-on-5 on the way to the Big East Tournament Championship at Madison Square Garden, the Mecca. That was early in the novel of Kemba Walker. Hopefully, the best is yet to come for Kemba. In the 2 spot, we'll roll with a Yanks and Mets update. The Yanks have been doing plenty more winning than losing these days. Here's more.
That's how baseball works. I think, like I always say, is I just want to have good at bats. I know at the end of the day, like the results might not always be there, but if you continue to have good at bats, you know, at the end of the day, things will click and things will start going your way. And that's how I felt. I know I haven't put up, huge numbers or anything, but I feel like I've been getting on base. I've been seeing a lot of pitches and helping the offense in that way.
Can't say the same for the Mets, though. They haven't had the same success since the All-Star break that they had before it. And the timing is really tough with this killer schedule that the Mets are facing. We go back inside the locker room for the latest with the...
It's definitely frustrating to lose in extra innings, both nights, but we're in both games. I mean, we're one swing away from winning both those games. The more we can keep ourselves in those situations, obviously we want to win by 3, 4, 5 runs, but when we're in it till the end, anything can happen.
And in at number 1 on the front end, how about some preseason football between the two teams that share MetLife Stadium? The Jets hold on in the exhibition opener against the Giants.
Well, I think as a team we started slow on both sides of the ball. And I saw some improvement as we went on. We were able to move the ball a little bit, get down in a scoring position. We can't have turnovers in a low red area. We have to capitalize on it. Obviously, we can't shoot ourselves in the foot and expect to have success.
It was a great experience. I really enjoyed, having just that game-like setting, the introduction to kind of like the NFL and the whole game. And it's great for everybody, no matter how much football you've played. It was awesome just to be able to get out there and do that.
And now, how about 5 stories to keep an eye on? The NBA season ended in the summer, but it's almost ready to return. And with the draft and the offseason signings right after the finals, the NBA season never truly goes away. The Knicks may have stole the back pages with the Kemba signing, but the Nets have managed to keep their nucleus intact, and that started with an extension for KD and now the re-signing of Blake Griffin. In at number 1, here's what Blake has to say for the season ahead for the Nets.
We as a team felt like we obviously didn't accomplish what we wanted. You could say injuries, but every team had injuries, So, we feel like there's definitely, unfinished business. There's something bigger that we want to achieve, and I still want to be a part of that.
In at number 2, the Mets host the reigning world champion Dodgers this weekend at Citi Field, while the Yanks play host to Minnesota in the 3rd spot on the back end of 5-on-5. And at number 4, the Giants look to rebound this weekend in Cleveland in week 2 of the preseason. That game kicks Sunday at 1 p.m. The Jets, meanwhile, give it a go a day earlier. They are back in action tomorrow, Saturday, in Green Bay to face Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. That preseason matchup goes down at 4:25 p.m. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for an insider look at an historic weekend for motorsport at Indianapolis. Rather than commentary here, we've got an insider look at the NASCAR and IndyCar tripleheader weekend from the racing capital of the world. Our BronxNet cameras captured it all. We begin with this past Saturday's doubleheader with drivers from NASCAR's Top 2 Series and the IndyCar Series all in town for a rare crossover weekend. Will Power powered the IndyCar Series to a strong start in the first race of the weekend. In the largest IndyCar field outside of the Indianapolis 500 in a decade, Power beat 27 other cars to win his first race of 2021 in Saturday's Big Machine Spiked Coolers Grand Prix.
Big relief, and I think it's great for the team, especially the guys on my car. They've been working hard. They've been flawless this year. They've really done the job, and I haven't. If we had that sort of performance in the pits and just prep and all that last year, we probably would have won a lot more races.
With the victory, Power is now 5th on IndyCar's all-time win list. While Power celebrated by having friend and fellow racer Alexander Rossi join his presser via FaceTime, NASCAR Xfinity winner Austin Cindric elected to sing a tune in Victory Lane. He went with the classic Back Home Again in Indiana.
This weekend has been really fun to be a part of. I think I called it the World's Fair of racing almost, with the different cultures and different types of racing and drivers you've seen throughout the weekend. And to be a part of that show, to see all the people get excited about NASCAR racing and IndyCar racing this weekend, and obviously get a win for Roger here was pretty massive.
AJ Allmendinger survived chaos and carnage to win the NASCAR Cup race, a thrilling ending for a marvelous weekend of racing at the Brickyard. The 39-year-old, in a one-off Cup entry, survived the final laps to avenge his misfortune 8 years earlier as an open-wheel racer in the Indy 500 to win the Verizon 200 at the Brickyard. AJ had his chance to win the 2013 Indy 500 dashed when he was forced to pit late with a loose seatbelt. But this time, fortune played right into his hands, folks. Chaos in the final laps and overtime led to the opportunity for Allmendinger to take the race win. He was in third place when leaders Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe tangled following the second overtime restart, and Allmendinger took the lead for good when Briscoe was penalized for driving through the grass shortly before he spun out Hamlin as they raced for the lead.
We have fast race cars, but like at Indy, the way that played out, this is just pure enjoyment that I don't like. I'm gonna have to tell I retire now. Sorry guys, I'm done.
I said the same thing.
I'm done, I'm out.
That was a winning sports segment if you ask me. Have a great weekend, folks. We'll see you on Monday morning's Open.
Welcome back. Our last guest is an award-winning performance poet, published author, and teaching artist from the Bronx. He's a 2014 Rio Award recipient. He's also the Monday night online open mic host for the legendary New York Poets Cafe. His work has been featured in many major publications, including PBS, LA Times, Fox News, Univision, and he's here to share some more. Please welcome advocate of Wordz with a Z.
Thank you for having me. As I told you before, you are popping on screen. You are looking good. I appreciate you having me. I'm ready to get into it. I'm ready to chop it up.
Oh my God, Advocate, I was so excited when I saw you on my script. When I received the information from my producer, I was like, oh my gosh, when was the last time I've seen Advocate of Wordz? And you know, we shared the stage together, and it just so happens that I just recently came across some images of us when we performed for Barriolesque at the Poets Den. And so it's so awesome to see that you're still relevant and you're still, of course, crafting and writing and representing the New York Poets Cafe, which I think is a very important institution.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think it's super important. And you know, when the pandemic hit, we moved online. You know, I personally was really worried, like, you know, how are we going to handle this? And we've moved online, and luckily, the community has moved on with us and they have supported us. So it's a beautiful thing. I'm lucky, especially, like as artists in the pandemic, the first thing to go with any kind of budget cuts are the arts, right? So lucky we got online.
Yeah, well, it's lovely the way you've been keeping it alive, right? So I introduced you primarily as a writer and a poet, but you're really a creative because you also work on camera, you also edit, and one of the things that stood out for me going through your Instagram account was how you've put this, like, I guess we'll call it a sizzle reel of the highlights of your Monday night open mic. And what I found fascinating, aside from the fact that there's a lot of vulgarity, just saying, is how you were able to create like one overall poem with everyone's, I guess, a verse from everyone's piece. I thought that was so dope and clever.
Thank you. So we've been doing the Monday night online open mic for about a year and a half, 72 weeks, right? So like a year and 4 months, 5 months. And I always tell people, like, I got really lucky with a really good community who has a lot of talent. And as you know, when it comes to promoting, you're always finding different ways to promote. So I decided to put together like a highlight reel, a sizzle reel of the Monday nights that we have, and kind of put it together like a found poem, take lines from each poet. And I really enjoy doing it. And, it's not easy, but it really feels easy because there's so much talent and there's so much that I can pull from. So the hard part actually is having to cut lines out that are really good, because I'm trying to keep it down to 2 to 3 minutes so people can get a feel for what the community is and want to participate. And then show off the community. I want to show off the poets. They're awesome.
Yeah,
so I'm glad you like it.
Yeah, show off the eroticism.
It's not every week, but yes, we did have one. We did have one, freedom of speech. It is an adult open mic, but we did have one, and we got banned on YouTube. And as I told you, I wear it like a badge of honor.
So which leads me into, how's fatherhood treating you?
Oh my God, fatherhood. I always tell people, my kid makes me look like a great father. I got really lucky. He's athletic, he's intelligent, and he's caring, he's empathetic, so
How old is he now?
He's 11. He's
Nice.
11. He turned 11 years old this year. So he's just, I can't go into enough. Like, a lot of people will see us and be like, you're such a great dad. And I'm like, really? I don't know. Like, he just makes me really look good. He's my first and only kid. So like, what do I know what I'm doing? And, I'm not to get too serious, but I'm also trying to like break generational curses, and I'm able to see that. And it's beautiful to see him grow, his personality grow. Sometimes I miss him being 3 or 4 years old. Like, that's a really cute stage and whatnot, but he's still awesome. Like I always tell him, he's my favorite person in the world.
That is so awesome. Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Oh my gosh, you do sound like a super dad, and I get it. I'm a mom myself, and mine is 12, so I get that connection of just really being conscious and mindful in the way you're communicating. And that's what it sounds like. I mean, you are advocate of words. I'm just saying, right?
He's performed poems at the cafe. He'll come to me when I teach classes. He'll come with me. He'll check all of that out. So he is soaking it in. And like I also tell people, like, I like my kid. As a parent, yeah, you love your kid, but do you like your kid? I got lucky. I like my kid. I have a very likable kid.
That's awesome. But also, bringing it back to you, you're so humble and you're always giving it, sharing the flowers and just flowering everyone else. But the fact that you basically identify as advocate of words, which places you in this realm of being a communicator, right? Not only as a writer and everything, because you've affirmed it, you put it out into the universe, and also you all belong to a group called Grito de Poetas. That's how I met you very, very many years ago, and I know you all branched out and went your different ways, but I understand that you're all still together. And so just carrying it on and passing it on, and of course your son is your legacy, so it's just really refreshing to see it, because I can feel it just by the way you're expressing it.
Thank you. Yeah. So El Grito de Poetas began like almost 2 decades ago now. Not just yet, you know, and I know that's confusing your audience because I don't look a day over 21, but I'm actually 41. I appreciate everyone thinking those good thoughts about me. But yeah, you know, and all the poets, and over time, it's like if you look at like music groups from the past, sometimes some members come in and some leave, so it's been like that. But it was such a blessing to have worked with everyone who's in the group, who has come in and has left, like, you know, like to get together with a writer group who is creative and is able to like push you and show you a lot of love has been super important to me, you know, as a poet, as an artist. And like, you know, like in our industry, we hear the word no a lot. So it's important to have that like kind of support and also like that friendly competition. You know, like, oh, you did that. Well, watch what I'm gonna do now. So it's a beautiful thing, and I got super lucky. I've gotten super lucky.
Oh my gosh, everyone who's working with you and participates in your Monday night mics is so blessed to have someone like you cultivating the that art form. And I'm so happy to share you with our audience today. And also, before you go, I want everybody to know that you are going to be giving us a taste of something that I believe represents El Grito de Poetas.
Yes. So like I said, we have been, you know, the group is starting to get long in the tooth. So we decided to write a poem called Still Screaming, because El Grito de Poetas translates into like the scream of poets, right? The poet's scream. So we wrote, we wrote a poem called Still Screaming. So it kind of touches on like, you know, why I'm still doing what I'm doing after all these years.
That's what's up. That's it. Making sure that we're relevant, writing them words. Advocate of Wordz. You guys don't go anywhere. We got to take a quick break, but when we return, Advocate of Wordz is going to recite Still Screaming when we return. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Here now to perform Still Screaming. Please welcome Advocate of Wordz.
I've got a muse that never counts sheep, a pen that hears dog whistles and neutrons beep, an internal clock that is anxious and dyslexic, and a hookup with a doorman to a black hole nexus. I'm deranged, I'm crazy, I'm a tormented artist. Soliloquies are more than cathartic. I speak in metaphors regardless of how many theaters and open mics close their doors. I'm no longer worried about being woven into your lores. I'm just saying, I can't stop hooting and howling and hollering like thunder. My thoughts can't be muffled or pacified. They refuse to go unuttered. They must shout and scream and wail and bellow. They won't whisper or be reticent or low key or mellow. Giving me downers is like turning up the bass. If I can't be heard, I'll shake up the ice cream in place, because the only cages that kids should be in are for baseball practice, not the border, an island, or an airplane in the upper stratus. I think it'd be common sense to fight for freedom of speech. One day you too may be accused of rhetoric that is an overreach. So how can I muzzle my muzzle or yip my lip when we still have so far to go to get where we get?
Woo! Advocate of Wordz. That's right, you heard it. Still Screaming. For more on Advocate, you check them out on IG at Advocate of Wordz with a Z. Bueno, that is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recable cast tonight and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.